master's mind is like space. People don't understand her. They look to her and wait. She treats them like her own children. 50. The master gives himself up to whatever the moment brings. He knows that he is going to die, and he has nothing left to hold on to. No illusions in his mind. No resistances.
Yeah, watch your face is what you're doing.
Some girl in the gym gonna walk up on me and shoot her shot.
What?
And she either gonna be Mexican, or black, or white.
You a total white girl? You a total white girl?
I ain't gonna front the ones in my area.
I can't fucking go to Neiman Marcus. You know what? You want me to crash? I'm gonna crash. I can't fucking go to Neiman Marcus right now to buy a goddamn little YSL purse because my fucking portfolio is down because I don't have $10 million, nigga. I'm only 50 fucking years old and I need this shit to fucking retire and send my grandkids to Disney World. That's part of my goddamn financial plan since I've been 22 years old. So you right, Negro, I'm pissed as fuck. I'm not positive. I can't go on a fucking trip because my goddamn portfolio is down. So how the fuck you want me to be happy and I can't go shopping, Negro? God damn it. And I'm gonna buy that fucking YSL fucking American product. I'm not buying no goddamn Liz Claiborne. I'm not buying no goddamn Gonzalez. I'm not buying no fucking Tory Burch bag. I'm not even buying a goddamn Coach bag. You know what? I'm gonna go buy a fucking Louis Vuitton and say fuck America and parade that bitch all around the goddamn Halloween. How about that, Negro?
I do.
My ass Republican.
I do agree with you.
Okay, I'm done cracking.
Mickey, I text you to crash. I want you to get that out your system.
I do.
I am going to call you.
I appreciate that.
Because there's an estate thing that we need to handle in regards to my mom. She just made a big shift in her life with her retirement and everything, and she's got a amount of cash in her hands and needs to know when and how to play
sure. Yay, mama.
Yeah. Right, so we're going to put you in a good mood, a good space, because I know you like to do that thing, do this, you know?
Yay!
So I'm waiting for the crash out to be done.
My prices have
increased.
My prices have increased because of the tariff, because my sales is from China, so we're going to add that 50% tariff to my consulting.
Let's make sure that we go.
So I do agree with you, Mickey, that this is intentional to crash the market.
Are you in your job in the mall?
One second, ma'am. I do agree it's intentional to crash the market, which is how smart money gets their money off the table due to dumb money funding and increasing the value of their portfolios. Warren Buffett has been going to cash since last year, and so he's getting ready for the sell-off so that when everything plummets, like it did in 08 and worse, a lot of people have been predicting it, all of the people who are in cash, which is there's tons of them, can go and buy up all of these cheap assets because currently they're all overvalued. So we agree there, Mickey. Thank you. And since you have that perspective,
hold on.
One second.
No.
1 second, ma'am. You can be upset. You can be upset as soon as I'm done.
I'm not upset.
Finish.
I'm not upset.
Let me finish. Please and thank you.
What you said a couple of things though.
Please and thank you, bro. Like, why so aggressive? Calm down.
No. Yeah, I'm not doing that today. All right, you can come back up if you're nice. Okay? We're not doing that. We're not calling.
I'm not nice because I asked you to
Just leave him until you finish.
We're not doing that.
Yeah, you poo-poo head.
Go ahead, say. What were you going to say?
He's talking about, the most brilliant investor possibly that ever existed, but the man is 90-something years old or 80-something. Like, he has, you can't necessarily go by one person. He's very liquid right now because maybe he's probably going to die soon, right? And so, sure, while a bunch of people are waiting for the market to crash, like, you're saying, like, it's a good thing, which is weird to me.
It actually is a good thing if you're prepared for it. I mean, he got super liquid. I don't even remember the number, like 950 million or something. I don't remember the exact number.
You cut me off and move me to say that?
He does this Warren does this. He's very good at this. He doesn't pull the trigger incorrectly often.
Yeah.
He got liquid. As most people get liquid before a recession, before a bubble, they get liquid simply because it is a prime opportunity to move on, either recapture stock of companies or shares of companies that they already are invested in at a lower price, or they actually move on industries that they've been waiting to get into. That's what they do. So yeah, he got liquid in 2024. Yeah, a lot of people got liquid in 2024. A lot of them actually sold off positions to be prepared for this move at the end of this year. Yeah, but we're not talking about that. We're talking about the average consumer, the average middle American. Because none of us have their phone numbers. I don't know.
Well, the reason why I bring it up, what they're doing, is because they understand something better and more intimately.
No, it's not that they understand it better. We just don't have to. We can't move that way. We can't move like institutions. We're not sitting on $100 billion. Nobody in here is looking at it. It's not that we can't see that. We can look at the same historical charts that they look at. But we don't have the capital to move the market like they do. That's the difference between institutional traders and retail traders. We don't have that liquid. We don't have that kind of capital. That's the difference. But if you do, my bad, maybe you should have paid attention to them, and you should have got $500 million liquid in 2024. I don't have that kind of capital. I live in a van and go bump down my river.
So it's not about, man, this is crazy. Anyway, it's a real simple concept. So if they see something coming over the horizon, you can just take steps to secure yourself before the event occurs, right? For instance, if you're in equities, you move out of equities and high risk stuff and you move into bonds. If you're thinking about going on vacation, you don't. If you have thinking about buying a new car, you don't. So these are all things that we can do when we take a macro perspective on the upcoming economy. That's all I'm saying. It's not woo-woo. It's not magic. It's just normal stuff. It's crazy, bro.
So I can give I'm sorry, I'm done with my crash outs. Let me speak as, this is not financial advice. This is just the formal. Thank you, Patty. I've recovered and I'm about to go eat because I can tell I need a Snicker bar. So what we are seeing is a correction. This happens from time to time. And I put an article in the chat that basically describes Warren Buffett's strategy. And the Oracle of Omaha is spot on. He did start going to cash in December. He's a huge cash portfolio because cash is an asset class. And remember, interest rates are still somewhat high. So you could probably get a good 3 or 4% for your cash. But we should not panic sell because remember, the stock market was insane during the Biden administration. A lot of these companies, especially the Mag 7, which has pretty much been underwriting the whole market, they are highly overvaluated. Highly. Like Tesla, even though it's painful, Tesla losing 50%, it might be finally just on par with where it should be, in regarding to like the sales, where the company actually stands, more in line with the financials. Because what can happen is the stock can trade multiple times for its value. And in my opinion, we've kind of seen these runaway stock profits as, like the trading bros get into it and, I'm going to short Tesla and I'm going to short NVIDIA. We are seeing a lot more retail traders, to what GA was saying, versus the old institutional investors. Because a lot of the trading that happens in the market is algorithmic, right? It's not like 30 years ago where, you have the market makers getting together. We've all seen those movies with the ticker tape and people going, and you have 25, you got 25, I got 25 and a quarter, right? It's algorithms, it's 70%. A lot of this reaction is timed in, or priced in, meaning that the market knew what Trump was going to do. I think Patty mentioned this. He's been talking about this since he's been on the campaign trail, right? So we're well aware. We're not acting surprised, but seeing the results, right? It's kind of like if grandma is, I won't say grandma. If someone out in the world has cancer and we know that they're going to die and they've been sick for years, but then the reality of when it finally hits, like, wow, they've passed away, you're still going to have some reaction, even though you were prepping yourself for it, right? So this is not unusual. People are reacting, investors are reacting to uncertainty and fear. This is why gold is literally at an all-time high, right? Historically, we flock to gold. Can somebody see what Bitcoin is doing? Because I don't even look at Bitcoin, but that's interesting. Is it going down too? Probably.
Yeah, Bitcoin is at 81,000 right now.
I'm down 5% today. 5%.
Yeah, my crypto portfolio is down like 11%.
Okay, thank you. So what we're seeing is like
now. They did pop back up in the last.
Bitcoin did. Okay.
Not that long. 310. Wait, no, that's yesterday. I'm sorry.
So it's
I just looked. It says it's down 0.27% today, but this number.
So a little bit less down than the S&P. Well, okay. So, and I don't advise just looking at the ticker tape all day. It's literally going to drive yourself crazy, because then you're probably going to be like, oh, maybe I need to make a trade, or now if you have saved your cash. And I'm not giving financial advice. I don't know your financial goals, your investment horizon. But what I am saying is, if you look at the last 5 years of return of the market, right? It's not 2008. It's not 30% off. We could probably stand to lose.
Old-ass Afro motherfucking bald-headed bitch. Spending all the time talking about gas shit that ain't nobody cares about. Just black people in downtown Minnesota. I don't get through that shit. Now, the market lost 5% with the S&P 500. Did you use that to push forward your interest? No, you didn't. You're sitting here bitching about black people in Wisconsin calling for reparation. Eat my ass.
See, Rabbi just thinks he's cooler than you.
But you find liberation in captivity. You a nigga. That's what I'm saying.
Oh, my gosh. Oh, my gosh. Dr. Oscar, how can you let this rabbi, this fake, false...
It's a war peace. We're talking about the war that we're talking about. They was not described as black. It was described as torn, swamp.
I'm gonna pull up, but I'm not putting at all. I'm gonna pull up. I'm gonna say hi. I'm gonna hug the wife. I'm probably gonna give Nathan a meat mug and a meeting.
Nah. You promised me a shot and a beer.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I forget.
Welcome back to another exciting episode of...
It's not about the people. It's never about the people. It's always about those governing the people, and show that, whatever, fuck you. We're going to home a message, or I want to have a room about dudes complaining about women always asking for money, and it's because y'all be in the hood. Y'all need to get out the hood.
Start dating the
No,
women.
In general,
Wait. She has a point. Wait. She has a point. Let her rock.
what's wrong with asking for money? What the fuck?
can I get some pussy? I just want to hold
One mic on Jaya, y'all.
some ass.
Hello, y'all don't have no respect for the young queen.
Can I hold some ass?
Hold on, Cutler. You little asshole.
Hold on. What are you saying?
No, I'm not saying only. I'm not saying DW. Hi, good morning, good afternoon.
Good morning, good afternoon.
I'm not saying that only hood women ask for money, but it seems like that's the culture. So, she wants your money. Get out the hood. Go get you a woman that got no nose. She got a no this. Go get her. And I'm pretty sure a woman with.
I'm just poking around, doing some emails, and thought I'd drop in.
Yeah, charges for me reading Carson.
From the cat to the cat, from one birthday to the next birthday, like every single day, like 5 days a week. I'm like, bro, if I gotta go through that, bro, like, ain't no way. Like, it just could never be me.
Well, I could just tell you this. You sound like a very confident and very intellectual man, and you know what you want. That's what I mean, confidence. Communicate. Just literally, and I'm not trying to be funny because we thrive off of vibration, light, and frequency. So be mindful that the way you do articulate, it's like how the saying says, it's not what you say, it's how you say it. Sometimes you gotta understand that people live their lives.
Left it kicked me from the room. Damn, I'm like scrolling through Clown House. There's so many rooms, and it's just. I'm looking for essentially people I know, and I don't see anybody I really know. But let me see what else I can find. This is only gonna go for like, it's gotta stop soon because this is pointless.
All of those things. The problem is that they're doing it in an environment of heightened uncertainty, which means they cannot rely on they cannot be lean, right? Basically, which is going to drive up the cost of the supply chains. We have, if this sounds familiar,
The biggest.
it's because on the previous Trump administrations,
I said so many funny things yesterday.
I haven't heard this song in mad long. I'm about to play this shit.
And the game continues.
I'm about to play this song right now. I haven't heard this shit in mad long. Oh, you see, heavy start for you. I told you.
So we're going to have a supply shock, and I don't know what's going to happen after that. That depends. Like last time, there was a supply shock. There were a few small bank failures in the United States, right? The SVB and others.
You don't want to hear the room. If I wanted to do that, I would have made a God room right now to hear them delusional people so go there about nothing.
Yeah, but what are you?
I don't want to hear delusional people talk about nothing right now.
Crisis happening.
But what are you talking about in there?
So what am I talking about?
But I guess the headline is that.
You said, what am I talking about?
Yeah.
We ain't talking about nothing. We listening to the music. You don't hear it?
It's really.
So, that's good follow-up.
Why watch you stand love? You like this
Conversationist Philip when it comes to macroeconomics. I'm definitely not there. But Philip, I have a question. So let's just say that we were as a thought experiment to go, let's call it the grifter conspiracy theory, that basically all this is one big grift, and that members of the administration and their closest buds are essentially playing the market, where they are the only ones with a crystal ball because they know what they're going to do. So they're like shorting the market right now, basically finding ways to profit off of the news that they know is coming.
sort of do things that they can also get out ahead of and make, basically enrich themselves personally. Is that just the stuff of absolute pure fantasy, or is that something that you think could potentially be playing out?
I mean, maybe, but even in the environment, are they going to lift all the carrots, right? In that scenario, maybe with enough pressure they would, right? And I think that's a good point because, yeah, we all understand the economic drawdown from this, right? But I think the primary story is the political economy story, that the rest of the world, right? The managers in Vietnam, for 2 weeks, they're going to sit and think, okay, how they're going to do their business now, right? Or importers from Vietnam, or Nike, right? With its distributed supply chain, that's going to be probably tariffed 20 different times because, like, their garments are shipped from, like, they have long supply chain crisscrossing all different types of countries to do their stuff, right? Now they have to figure out not only what the United States is doing, but what it's like, especially for companies like Nike or automakers or anybody who has long stretched supply chain, this is insanity, right? This because, again, for the past, globalization depends on smooth, lean, structured supply chain. This is why bond vigilantes, the left also hates this part, right? But I guess we're all neoliberal now. Investor confidence is really important for planning, just for planning purposes. If people can plan, they're going to blame others politically, and obviously it's going to push. Like Canada, Germany also had coal, agreed on partnership, right? So the story might be that whatever they do, and if they're crooked, right, this is going to have a long-term damage on U.S. credibility, right? Because nobody would want to have experienced the same thing again. So whether we want it or not, a shift is coming, and it's hard to price it in the market.
Did we lose him? Is it? No. There he is. He's back.
So it's great time. Yeah, I'll wrap up. Anyway, we'll have to wait and see. This is type of stuff that is impossible to predict. This is not a normal kind of correction responding to a related event, and that sector takes down other sectors like we usually see normal market corrections, right? This is reshaping of the world economy. This is going back on trade and economic practices that were really accepted since the 70s, right? So I don't think this is the end of the story, right? The market correction today.
Yeah, I mean, it's like the intention piece that I think is sort of the most fascinating, right? Because this is not, like you're saying, it's politics, it's not economics. I mean, it impacts economics, but it's like there's nothing sensical about it from any normative view. And so to me, the question becomes like, okay, then what's going on, right? Are we just, unfortunately beholden to the whims of a madman?
Yep.
Is there like a nefarious? Yeah, I mean that doesn't feel this part of it, right?
That's the only thing, honestly. And I've
think that's the only thing. But that's kind of what I'm trying to get at, Philip. Is like, are we like sure there's not some like, I don't know, there's like the deeper Russian plot version of this, and there's the just grifting in the U.S. plot. There's like a few different ones.
No, welcome to the reality that the rest of the world lives in out of Europe, right? Usually there is like Putin decides to do something in the morning, he doesn't. Ilham Aliyev decides to do something, he doesn't. Erdogan decides to jail the opposition, he doesn't. Not because there is some type of drawn-out plan or there is a think tank and they wrote a paper, but because one person just decided to do something. This is there is, and I try to state, I can, it's really hard to say wash anything. Like there is Stephen Naran, his economic paper. Some people will bring it up. It's all bullshit. Like it has what Trump is doing has nothing to do with Stephen Naran's paper. It's just he decided he doesn't. There is no macroeconomic or political analysis unless you want to go into like, you know how there was Kremlinology when people were reading based on body language and movement and speech patterns of so like Sovietology, right? Soviet Union political. Yeah, that unless you want to go to that level of analysis, it just doesn't make any sense. There is no policy. There is no larger framework or larger plan.
Well, have you guys ready to discuss the interest rate thing? The like,
hold on, just before we jump to something else. I'm okay to jump to that. I just want to like finish off this part first. Yeah, I think that one of the things that's interesting about, like, first off, point well made about welcome to like living in this kind of way under this kind of leader, like fair. And also, it was very kind of you to not mention the whims of the U.S. and how those, you know, the winds blow one way and then the other for so many countries in the world. The thing that is, I guess, just different with this is like Erdogan, you know, so he decides he wants to build like a ton of infrastructure all over the country and hooks up all of his friends. You can see it very directly. Like, this is what he wants to do. This is how he benefits. It's just not that opaque. And this just feels, I don't know, maybe different because, like, where is the corruption landing? You know, like, what is the mode of corruption in this case and who's benefiting feels more opaque than with some of the sort of more small, not Turkey's a small country, but just less than the U.S., right? Less than the hegemonic power. Maybe
Turkey is actually good.
This will go on forever.
Turkey is actually a good example. For about 10 years before he got.
Okay, it's gonna go on forever, but let's see what we can find.
See all the immigrants coming down there. That's the Yankees.
Ain't no immigrants coming down here. All the immigrants they sent to New York, Chicago.
They in Atlanta. They in Houston.
They
coming down.
They took over New York City.
Listen, one thing I do know is they not in Atlanta because we looking for them. We actually trying to find out.
You trying to find the Africans? Because they run shit in Atlanta. Don't do that.
No, they don't. Where they running shit at?
You a lie, bro.
When
I went downtown Atlanta, I saw no black people. I saw a bunch of
downtown, right? Because you know why?
I saw a bunch of whites.
Because you know why? Because you know where you went and why all that shit was like that. Because all of that shit right there with like the Asians, they do.
So what do we think about the tariffs?
You tell us what you think.
I don't understand it, but it's very strange to me. But he really likes it, so let's see what happens. I mean, I'll be surprised if it works, but, you know, I mean, let's see what happens.
Look, so far, he was able to surprise everybody with anything that he did. So, and it's not that they didn't try it before. Like, it's not something new. They tried it before, and it didn't work. So maybe he learned something out of the fact that it didn't work before, and maybe now it's going to work. You never know.
You mean Trump tried it before, or America tried it before?
No, America tried it before.
Like in the 18th century or something?
I don't know when, but I think it was around World War II.
Right. Did you notice, too, that they're offering all sorts of tax forgiveness?
Yeah.
This is a very amazing time.
To be alive in this time.
You're right about that. That's a good way to put it. And thank God, I can't even believe it. I was talking with a good friend about this last night. It's sort of miraculous for the Jews, like a miracle.
Yeah. Absolutely. Like, you show me one thing that's working against us.
I don't want to make a ton of horror, though.
I know, I don't make. He's way too strong for Einara.
you want, and I'm telling you, it's a good time to be alive.
I like the way you're putting it. I'm going to keep thinking that I should be more grateful instead of worried. And he definitely thinks that God picked him. And you know what? He's kind of right. God did pick him. Look at how his life was saved in that moment.
You cannot see, not even a single thing. Like, what is the odds that a bullet gonna pierce your ear, but not gonna go into your head? What is the odds for that?
I did ask for a sign from God, you know, like that we're moving in the right way, and that was like the day before that freaking happened, and like I was like,
so this is your fault, then.
I hope not, but shit. Did you hear what happened when he was sick with COVID? That I had a dream that I was there when he was sick that night or whatever. It was so weird.
Did things happen, quote unquote?
No, I just remember him being really sick, and then I like woke up. But like I don't think anything happened.
You're very empathic.
No, I don't know.
Maybe that is interesting that you dream about these things.
No, it's no, because I never remember my dreams. So for me to remember, it was weird that I remembered that.
The haters must be freaking out, to tell you the truth. Right?
Yeah. And it's good. When they are freaking out, we're doing very, very well.
But how about all the haters that voted for him? Because I think they think of themselves as masculine or something.
Okay.
You know? So they voted for him, and now they're saying, wait a second, he's going with the Jews. I don't get it. They're all confused. Right?
It's a good time to be alive. That's all I can repeat myself.
I wish you'd repeat it every day so I remember, Shooky. I'm going to start saying it.
I repeat it every single day.
Could you imagine if it were, I mean, just briefly, if it were Harris and like, oh, don't go into Rafah, don't go into Lebanon. Can you imagine? The whole equation is completely different.
Yep.
Yeah, they would have just paid them money and stuff.
What's with this paying money? I'm just starting to hear about it. What is that all about?
Well, no, I'm saying like Biden gave money to Iran and all these countries to start everything off.
Yeah. God, what a weak leader he was.
We were being led by the auto pen, right?
Do you see Mike Johnson said that he went in there and he couldn't get an appointment. The Speaker of the House couldn't get an appointment for a year. This is like the number 3 in line for the presidency. He goes in there and said, Mr. President, this is Biden, why did you sign this bill? I forget which bill it is. Biden says, I didn't sign that bill. He said, yes, you did, Mr. President. You signed this executive? Biden says, no, I didn't. So Mike Johnson said, let me go to your secretary and ask her to print it out. So she prints it out, and he had no memory of signing this executive order. Like somebody else was signing the executive orders, or else he doesn't know what he's doing.
Well, nothing new about that.
Yeah, but that's like going to your grandparent. I've seen my grandmother play games with my mother. You know, like old people, they know, they're like, you know what I'm saying? They're like, they can feign cognitive impairment as just a troll.
Oh.
You know, they're trolling.
Like Tony's mother in The Sopranos.
Exactly.
Oh, that's wild too.
Because they got nothing else to talk about or do. I mean, that's the final game, you know, when you're stuck in an assisted living care facility and you're trolling your kids because, like, it's just one more Solomon test. It's a shit test to see how they're going to treat you.
Well, that's a good insight. Which is you today? Are you Doge today?
He didn't decide yet.
He's a trans clubhouse. It's PTR. I don't think I've seen Oprah very much. That's a cute picture. I hope don't put the picture of your kid. You want to hear something crazy I did yesterday? So I'm watching a briefing from the IDF, and it's called the Daily Briefing. The guy has a kippah, and he's talking to Lieutenant Colonel Hariri. Okay? All right, so I'm watching this, and the Lieutenant Colonel is in his, he's at his desk, and there's all these pictures on the wall behind him. And I say to myself, you're showing, the enemy can see the pictures of your kids or something. So I get all nervous and freaked out. I start emailing, like, the YouTube thing, and I look up the guy's name on LinkedIn. I send him a LinkedIn. I sent him on Instagram and say, take this, be careful. You're showing the enemy pictures of your kids. Take that down. Isn't that crazy?
Did he answer?
Didn't America like take all these like Israeli top secret soldiers and just show their face like right on TV?
Yeah, I haven't heard back. This was like last night. I was like half asleep when I did it. So I haven't even checked to see if they wrote me that. And it's okay, but I said, take this down. This is like a security concern. And then I said, thank you for everything you do, Yasser Koa. You know, the Jews in America love you, et cetera, you know. So what's his name in the chat? Fardin. Thank you, Fardin.
Yeah, Fardin is one of us, no doubt.
So what do you think about these tariffs, El Normo? I mean, isn't it just a tax on the world, essentially, meaning that not only did American investors lose, but global investors lost today, and thus it's a good thing for America on average?
It's a good time to buy stocks.
You think?
Yeah, that's what people say who catch falling knives.
Huh?
You don't think it's going to sink more?
It will, but you buy, you go a little bit every week. You go in a little bit. Yeah, this is the time to buy when the market is going down.
No way. The media is going to create a mind virus about this, and this is the correction. If you're a trader and you knew that this tariff event yesterday was going to cause this, mass loss, just imagine how happy some people are who place the winning bets, and they're just like, I can't believe this. Like, this is the whole thing about stability and equilibrium, is that when these black swan events come in, you really can make a small fortune. And this is how billionaires become billionaires.
So are you a billionaire yet?
Just in my wildest dreams in Shemayim.
What's Shemayim?
Heaven, sky.
Heaven is in the sky? I thought it was in the ground.
It's space, essentially, the universe. I mean, I don't think you're an airhead, but what I'm saying is philosophically, you are an extension into space. So if you think about the infinite spaciousness of outer space, it leaves you in a state of awe. And if you think you're somehow connected to Shemayim, it's almost like Bina, or the Great Sea of Thought. So it's really about self-reflection, essentially.
Isn't that wisdom versus knowledge? Is Bina wisdom?
Bina, yes.
whatever.
Less of what?
Chakma? Chakma? Hold on. Okay, Chakma?
Don't try to spit on me.
No, that's not what I was doing. No, I wasn't saying.
He's referring to the acronym that actually Kabbalah uses, which is Ka, Columbina, Da.
This is Tanya, right?
Correct.
No, well, yeah, but this is the Kabbalistic tree of life. If you know the 10 Sephiroth, it's like most people don't know 3 variables, but the Sephiroth is 10. 10, not 11, 10, not 9. It's basically a way to make yourself smarter. Because be honest, most people can't remember more than 3 things.
Okay, so Keter's the top, and then
That's like your crown or the Ein Sof, the limitless light. And then you have
but someone said Ein Sof is the Big Bang.
basically, yeah. But it's not just the Big Bang. If you believe in like spiritual metaphysics, in my opinion, this is all just wordplay in order to induce a state of relaxation and equilibrium. Because the whole thing deals with the middle pillar, which is, the center way between the Kabbalistic tree of life. So it's really just to produce a state of great awe, stability, equilibrium, joy, happiness, manifestation. You can use all those buzzwords. I would say they deal with mindfulness, essentially.
This is becoming a very spiritual room. What happened to Mayor? Mayor knows a lot. Mayor is a
I mean, why do you think Donald Trump showed 10 tariffs, on his board yesterday? Everything they do is like a reference. There's always spiritual references to a lot of information that gets put out.
Do you know that Trump, as you know, came to the OHEL? Mayor Eric Adams comes to the OHEL. A whole lot of non-Jewish people come to the OHEL. The Rebbe's OHEL.
Yeah. When I saw Trump putting that stone on Menachem Schneerson's grave, I was like, and he had a kippah on. I was just like, wow. I was like, this is gonna happen. Like, this is unbelievable. To take that photo and put that out to the American people. Like, what is the voter thinking when they see Trump in a kippah putting a stone on some rabbi's gravesite? It's unbelievable.
I so agree with you that I'm just deeply moved. I went last week. I should probably go again.
Did you read Psalms?
Of course. That's what you do.
Did you sit and go through all of Tehillim or just some?
No, the practice is you read 1 year above your birthday and 1 year above the Rebbe.
Thus, for this thing is very near to you, in your mouth and in your heart, that you may do it. It is
I had a bunch of
rational
requests,
of God,
including some
for
people
while
from this
ecstasy is
app.
not for everyone, reason is.
And I wrote a bunch of
to play God's infinity at any time, and when
it's a tremendous experience for me. I brought my kid too. My kid is not, very.
you will generate a piece
drunk,
of rational
and
love
it
and
had a
needs
powerful
only
impact
action.
on me.
This is
Especially in the beautiful evening, if you have nice stars,
give no life a rational love can shatter the iron wall that separates.
So
There's something about the fact that it's non-Jews even coming, and also I find very moving.
Danny, do you keep Shabbos with your husband?
no, but I'm gonna start.
Oh my gosh, you have to try to at least LARP. Do anything you can do. I mean, get a book, get the Shabbats, with Shabbos and your husband. I mean, I'm telling you, like, I've been in a serious relationship, and Shabbos just like melts a man's heart with his love.
Yeah, but he always works. You think?
It does. If you're with a good man that appreciates wisdom, like Shabbos is the big event. I mean, the whole thing is love. I know he works, but you know, you got to try to find, your hour of power. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you, but it's the magic key in a relationship because you can work. You're building up to it. It's 6 days of hard work, and finally you get some relief on that seventh day. So, but it's more than that. You have to say the words. It's like a magic event weekly. And if you say the magic words, your life will improve drastically because you're conditioning yourself and programming yourself for the next 6 days.
I agree on that.
Me too. But,
After vodka bullshit.
וואו, איזה חתיכה.
מה קורה?
What is that thing in her butt? Like, I'm so confused.
After vodka. From the butt?
Yeah.
What's going on with this picture?
Yeah, Danny, if you sing songs on Shabbos with your husband, oh my gosh, you have no idea the transformative power of that experience.
He doesn't know why the keeper song.
I don't want to know.
Please don't.
Yeah, sing it with Nico.
Don't say that. But sing it. Go sing it right now.
No, I can't sing.
Steve is a narcissist. He just said, I know more than you.
If I was singing with Miss Sarah, then you've got voice up, my voice covered up.
He's just eating right now. He's good at that.
Danny, if he was a good wife, he will teach him. And don't try to embarrass him.
No, I know. I was just joking with him. Listen, he said he knows.
Joke. It's not a joke.
He's saying he knows better than everyone.
It's your husband. It's not a joke.
He's trying to be funny.
It wasn't funny though. No one laughed. And you had like 9 people here that could have laughed, but no one did.
Okay, I'm sorry. I thought that was funny.
So try better at being funny, Thank you.
But
There you go.
Danny, if you want the shortcut, just get the Tanya by the Alter Rebbe and read that on Shabbos.
He just asked me when Shabbos is. Okay, so I'm gonna return him for a Jewish one because this isn't working.
So I don't know if you know who the Alter Rebbe is or what Tanya is, but it's like the sister book to Torah. And it's really interesting because it's written by essentially the founder of Chabad, or you could say Chabad uses it as their source book. But if you go into any of these atheist rooms on here, and they're if you basically it's philosophy, it's very hermetic, like above and below, below and above. It tries to create a unity with God. It's a very interesting text and document to read, especially on Shabbos if you have a glass of wine, because if you read it out loud, it puts you like into a trance, and it deals with some very complicated philosophical concepts, which are definitely astrological, meaning the whole document tries to basically prove to you that God exists and that your brain is like a sponge. And so the more time you spend with Torah or Tanya, the more immersed you'll be into the universe or unity with God. So it's a fun document to use to induce this, what I would call like a brainwave, essentially. But it's very direct and to the point, and it's super complicated but compressed. The Alter Rebbe essentially did a compression of philosophy into this Jewish manuscript known as Tanya. It's an incredible document. It's truly one of the gems of Jewish mysticism. But see, this is the thing about Jewish literatures. It's pretty vast and it's incredible. And all these atheists or even Christians will refuse to touch it or read it. But Zohar or Bahir, or there's so many incredible Jewish documents. It's like they're very old, and it's a huge legacy in terms of global philosophy and wisdom. It's like the light of the world, and it's really just incredible. Almost all other religions or anybody who's interested in God who's not Jewish basically believes what it says because it's like it's saying what all the other world religions are saying as well. But since it's all in English and Hebrew, I can't read the Hebrew, which makes it even another deeper level of complexity. But if you can read it in English, it's much easier, in my opinion, to understand because Hebrew. I'm versed in English, not Hebrew.
Lean on the path of the intermediate.
Yeah, the glossary for Tanya is interesting. I mean, because what it is a large language model. And when you study Tanya or Torah, you're expanding your vocabulary, your dictionary, and how you integrate it into your mind and life really, it creates wonder and awe because if the stories are true, I don't know. I mean, people in Israel have known this probably for thousands of years, but even now more so than ever before. So Israel is like an incredible miracle, and these wars and these conflicts, they're unfortunate, but Israel is a modern miracle. It's unbelievable.
What's funny? I mean, if you think about it at all, like you just said, Israel is just a breathtaking miracle. And it's interesting that some people's reaction is, well, we want to break the miracle. We want to destroy the miracle. That's really an act against God, to act against a miracle. And it seems like, and you can tell me if you think this is accurate, some of the Arab nations, like say Saudi, they're like, you know what? Maybe we should respect this guy. This comes from God. They've been here so long. They keep winning war after war. Maybe we should be a little bit respectful. Maybe these guys are onto something. I remember when maybe a year ago, there was all this talk about the red heifer. I remember all the Muslims and the Arabs they're asking me like I know something. What's going on with the red heifer? What's happening? Are you going to rebuild the third temple? Or rebuild the second temple and make the third temple? So part of them really puts us on a pedestal and just thinks like these guys is something like very, very powerful and scary and godly about these guys.
That's the biggest mistake, no. And that belong to the Chabad stupidity.
Tell me what you're saying.
What I'm saying, the fact that somebody even looked for the red heifer, that's a very big sin.
Right.
To begin with, you don't start to build a building from the 10th floor. You need foundation first. And if you don't have the foundation, then what's the point? You cannot build nothing.
No, I agree. I'm saying this is like the non-Jews were saying this.
The non-Jews follow what the Jews said.
Was it Jews making the red heifer? I heard it was even some non-Jews making.
No, there is still people, stupid people, that's still looking for the red heifer today. They even found 2 in Texas.
That's what I remember.
So that's the biggest mistake. This is the biggest sin, and that's actually belong to Chabad.
I didn't know any of
I think what Shuki is trying to say is you can take that prophecy and walk onto Bennett.
Wait, Al, any soaring sightings?
No, 0.
Wait, Shuki, don't you think Chabad is successful at least in one thing?
Oh yeah, on ripping off people.
Well, other than that, aren't they successful in having Jewish children?
Jewish outreach.
Because I meet a lot of these young Orthodox kids, and they're in the streets, and they're really professional young people. I mean, their appearance, their decorum, their speech, they're very intelligent. So I don't know, to me, you could say whatever you want about taking people's money, because but that's the nature of charity. I don't know. To me, that is a miracle too. Chabad is an incredible, organization, in my opinion.
No, and no. I'm not talking about charity. When you give charity, that's one thing. When you're taking charity and you turn it into your personal business, because every Chabad center, it's a personal business.
Yeah, I know. It's not like a network. It's actually.
So there is nothing innocent about that.
I know, but I don't think you're framing it
After
right.
vodka bullshit.
I think you have to frame it in the sense that they consider themselves educational services. But
No, they are not. They are not, because you know how the movement after Jesus started. That's the exact thing that Chabad trying to do. The Rebbe is the Mashiach. The Rebbe is not the Mashiach. Mashiach gonna be someone that Hashem gonna anoint it.
I know, but you don't say the expression is not the Rebbe Mashiach now. The expression is just Mashiach now. That's like saying
No, you see, that's when you falling between the chairs. Rabbeinu Mashiach, that's the expression. In every ending of davening, they say Rabbeinu Mashiach.
Well, okay, I don't know. I don't, daven with Chabad, but my point is the philosophy or the information is still intelligent. It's still very smart. And if you read Tanya, I'm just saying it's a book, but it's a compression.
Let me teach you something. Before 1967, it was no Palestinians. Slowly, people said, well, we're going to call them Palestinians. Well, we're going to accept them. Well, we're going to sit and talk with them. And it's grow until the cancer become to be almost uncuttable.
But Shuki, sorry about the but. It's not better that Jews go to Chabad in the US than to the Reform movement?
100% I agree with you. But, and again, I'm saying but exactly like you.
You don't have a lot of choices.
No, there is other choices.
Yeah, no, I'm talking about not the religious people, like the average.
No, okay, it's better for a Jew to daven in its own home than to do what they do.
But if they lose the community sense, they will lose the Judaism eventually. They will become reforms or seculars or something else.
You remember Shas in the beginning?
Connected. Yes, but Chabad.
Yeah, Shuki, Chabad is the node. I'm telling you, they organize Jewry locally, which is a huge service. They're creating a network locally, and there's really no other significant Jewish movement that does that. Chabad is the best at it. I'm telling you, they create relationships and friendships.
Only in the US, though.
all my good friends are from Chabad or from Moishe House. You know, Jewish networking. You gotta value it that way.
The U.S. because my mom is like a global citizen. This is all she does is travel, and she's been to Chabad in Thailand. She's been to Chabad in every place she goes. Like I was just seeing someone saying that like wherever they go, they know they could go to the Chabad and like get help.
Yeah, I'm not
right?
talking
Like
about
internationally.
Yeah, I'm not talking about Chabad houses where every Jew can go. No, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about Jews who live in the U.S. Their options are not very, not too many options. Like you have Chabad.
They don't have a variety of options.
In Israel, we have many options. If you want to go to a synagogue, to a yeshiva, to whatever you want to go, you have many options. Like you only have Chabad. As a not completely secular Jew or not completely religious Jew, you have Chabad.
Reform and Chabad mix. I mean, the Reform go to Chabad, but the Chabad don't go to Reform, you know?
Of course not, because Reform is not exactly a Jew.
No, it's exactly not a Jew.
It's closer to Christianity. But
and so it's Chabad.
But you have to understand, without Chabad, a lot of them will become assimilate to the American society and will forget that there are Jews. 2-3 generations, there will be no Jews in the U.S.
I almost agree with what you're saying. I just don't see any difference because, to my opinion, it's my personal opinion, in about 20 generations, Chabad going to be exactly like Christianity.
So wait, why do you think 2 to 3 generations in America there won't be Jews? I mean, have you been to every major U.S. city? I mean, Jews in America?
I mean like in the sense of
the connection to Judaism.
Yeah, the connection. Now you have a strong connection because it's too far from the history. But in 2-3 generations, you will lose it.
Why? The books aren't going to go out of fashion. People are going to keep doing this forever.
The majority of the Jews in the U.S. don't believe in Judaism. They don't believe in what you and
I know, but that's because they don't have education. That's the whole point.
Okay.
The education isn't going to die out. I can assure you.
Exactly. So if you don't have Chabad, if you don't have something that connects you to Judaism, your kids or your grandkids will become something else, not Jews.
Yeah, I think Chabad is extremely important in terms of Jewish education.
No, it's important, but Shuki is also correct. What Chabad is doing is not Judaism. They do something like Christianity.
Well, the point is, whether they're implicit or explicit, it still deals with education. But then it comes back to your opinion about the implicit or explicit with regards to Menachem Schneerson and, the Mashiach. I mean, some people really love the guy because he really touched a lot of people's hearts. I know many Chabad rabbis that have pictures with him in Brooklyn, etc. That was a big spiritual movement. It's very important for people. Their whole identity, their credibility, their rebbeship is tied to that movement, to that organization, to that feeling.
Between that and Jesus, what's the difference between that and Jesus?
It's like a trick question. Menachem Schneerson was a very interesting and smart person. I mean, until you read his books, I'm a schmuck, okay? I've never written a really amazing book. So I'm just saying I really respect the intelligence.
You put a man, I'm talking about you put a real man, dead man, but a man as a god. That's forbidden.
Well, the point is I can watch videos of Menachem Schneerson passing out dollar bills. He's just a man. I mean, he's dead. Everybody gets old, and I've seen many family members pass.
I'm talking about Milubavitch, the rabbi.
Who?
Nelson.
Okay. Sorry. I don't know. All this.
Yeah. All I'm saying is, I mean, he had to have saved Judaism. I mean, because it's a programming. He was a media distribution business. But in the real world too, I mean, his dollar passing out events created basically a dollar social network. So you got to view their activities as being very cutting edge in terms of communication technology. I don't think you should. I'm just saying, I think there's ways to frame it that makes it more understandable in terms of like today's media and content. but the books themselves are. I mean, I'm telling you, like if you read that one book, Shulchan Aruch, or even the Book of Legends, there's just so many Jewish books that I know nothing, and I don't even live a Jewish lifestyle. But when I go to Chabad, to me, they're very dynamic, well programmed, and they're learned, and they spend most of their time contemplating God, reading about God, but really educating themselves. That's the thing, is they're always reading. They're like the mentats from the movie Dune. I'm telling you, they have essentially restored and saved Judaism, in my opinion. Israel's a different story.
You're missing the point. Whatever they take, look, the people that follow Jesus, because Jesus was a Jew, he was a rabbi, right? They follow him, and slowly they dilute it. Because Christianity was created 300 years after Jesus.
Well, it's the same story then.
Hold on. Which is 15 generation after. That's what's happening.
I agree. I'm just saying that the point is you could put it into like a matrix and do an overlay and say, okay, this is the story of Mercury or Hermes. This is the story of Jesus. This is the story of Krishna. This is the story of Muhammad. This is the story of Menachem Schneerson and Chabad. But see, Chabad is technically just Kabbalah. So, I don't know if you know who Andrew Meyer is, but he's a former Clubhouse user, but he's on X now. And he, told me to get this book called The Ways of the Tzaddik. And he went to Kabbalah Center on Olympic Boulevard in Los Angeles. Kabbalah is a big psychological restoration movement. It's technically therapy. It is neuro-linguistic therapy or neuro-linguistic dialectic therapy. This is a way to essentially, make yourself smarter.
You mean it's like Madonna become to be an Esther, right?
Exactly.
Come on, give me a fucking break.
I'm telling you, it's actually hypnosis. This may sound ridiculous, but in my opinion, it's a form of neurolinguistic hypnosis therapy. And that's what people use it for. And it's all in English. So that's what I think that's what I think people are doing. I think it's communication theory, technically.
That's another problem, that this is in English. The real Kabbalah is not in English.
Exactly. You have to know Hebrew. If you're not integrated in Hebrew, you're actually outside of Israel in a way. You're doing it in English. And it's technically like English Kabbalah.
Yeah, who did the translation to the Kabbalah to English?
English translators.
Yeah, who? Christians, Jews, who?
Yeah, probably Anglicans, right? Or English Christians.
Yeah, probably Christians. That's why it's mistranslated. That's why we don't trust
rooms. I used to make rooms about Torah, reading the Torah every Shabbat. Remember Mo?
Yeah, I remember.
And a lot of time when we discussed the portion that we read, people understood it completely different from what the meaning in Hebrew. And I brought it from a Chumash. And still, the translation is corrupted. It's not the same.
Yeah, until you really...
Because you can't. Because the Hebrew letters they have different meanings. And it's like a miracle, right? That's how God created the world, with letters, with Hebrew letters. So you can't translate it. You can translate some interpretation, but not all of it. Every word has like few meanings. If you read the Bible, if you read the Torah, at the first chapter, you have so many meanings of the first chapter. Just the first chapter. I'm not talking about all the book. You can't translate only one interpretation. I think I said it correctly, right, Chucky?
Yeah.
But whether you do it in English or Hebrew, I think the whole thing basically becomes like like an AI supercomputer, because what you're doing is like a 3D model in your mind's eye. You're contemplating, which is really, if you're contemplating on God, you're just in total awe. It creates like a hypnosis or a trance state, and in that trance state, you can try to determine what your priorities are. So. Uh, if you meet a Chabadnik who's not joyful, then I think something's wrong, because they program themselves on very high value information. It's it's basically super psychology.
Oh, I met a lot of Chabad that they are not joyful. Not just one.
I like them when I see them in the street.
Yeah, those I like also.
I like them because
those I like also. You know why? You know why I like them? Because they're still innocent, and they did not got programmed to be the greedy part of them. So those I like them very much. Exactly. They are pure, still pure. I agree with you on that.
I like them, and I'm using them a lot. Because I wake up every that morning, so I forget in the morning, and then I see them in the street, and it fills me, yeah, I can do that.
Yeah, those I like them. They're still innocent.
And also the Chabad centers all over the world. It's like it's amazing. Every city you go, you have a place, a home, like a place you can go and talk Torah and eat and like be with Jews. It's nice. In every hole in the world, everywhere you can think, you have a Chabad, except of I don't know, Iran or North Korea.
Oh, my place.
In Texas, yeah.
Not in my area.
I don't know. We live in the age of commercial aviation. I mean, prior to 747s and mass transportation through the air, people, you had to deal with what you had to deal with. Where I'm just saying, the fact that you can traverse the globe now, and be in Manhattan or LA or Tel Aviv or wherever. It's just that fact alone is amazing, but essentially you still have to deal with your own personal psychology. And I'm just saying that, to me, that book Tanya by Alter Rebbe is an amazing book, and I've made a thorough study of it, and every time I read it, I'm just totally in amazement. Welcome, Dr. Australia.
What just happened? Where is everybody?
No way, it was too serious for them.
That was the lunch break. That was the afternoon Torah study.
יצאו הרבה אנשים החוצה בבת אחת, ככה נראה לי, או שאני מדמיין.
So some of not a lot actually. I have some family. My cousin, she was in Bridgeview, but she moved there. She's from South Carolina, and then the places near Bridgeview. Also there. Not that much though. I would say like Lucy's there. Lucy is related.
narcissist part of their personalities. Generally, people with a collective cause that actually want to wield power, hold power, and everything that you mentioned, they will generally join forces to accelerate their plan quicker. I just find it so interesting that at this juncture, when it comes to building their utopia, they decide to part ways because nobody's working together. It's like 7-Up. And they all have their own plan. I just find that really interesting.
So picture you put 7 people in the room that want to be an emperor, right? Picture like old school. Everybody's going to want to come to power in a different way. Maybe there's like the head of the Merchants Guild that wants to take over that way. Then there's the head of the church that wants to take over that way. Then there's the military commander that wants to take over that way. Then there's the established monarch that wants to take over that way. Then there's a foreign leader that wants to take over that way. One of the reasons why you're seeing this kind of division and infighting is everybody wants to have the most power they can. There can only be one person in power. So then you do simple power calculations. Do I ally with this person because they're going to go in my interests? How do I keep this person from passing me by? Like, this person might want to literally kill me at some point. So how do I make sure that they don't do that? Do I team up with them? Do I try and talk them down to the person in power? So when I look at what's going on right now, it's, for me, in trying to understand it, it's that simple why you see the divergent interests. And behind the scenes, this is the thing, like, how did he come up with the graph? Why did they publish those things? Sometimes it's just some idiot who's they're full of yes men, but there are a couple people who are like, somebody talked about this dark enlightenment, whatever. There are some educated people that are highly intentional that are given these.
No, but that's not a big.
Oh, thanks for that jazzy update, Aurelio.
But there are also very serious people behind the scenes that are doing things. And that's where you have to be careful on saying it's just stupid or it's all brilliant. It's a combination of very intentional.
Can you put the update in the chat down, Julio? Thanks.
All the way back to the founding of Fox News and like the precursors to Citizens United in the 1800s. Like, this has been a long game some people are playing. And then there's some idiots that they count on being in the front, running headfirst into it. So I get it. That's kind of weird to analyze, but it's not unpredictable.